Hey, everybody. This is the first open discussion of a set of 6 over the different campaigns that Komodo is going to be doing over the next 6 months, the first half of the year. So what we're going to be talking about is the Discover AtomicDEX February campaign path and the plan associated with that. I'm just pinging the channel right now. If you're following along on Twitter or YouTube, you can go ahead and reply to the YouTube video or reply to the Twitter thread associated with it, and we'll pick up your comments there and bring your questions on in. Or if you have ideas. And let me ping the Discord channel and we'll get started here shortly.
Right, so what are we going to talk about, Jesse?
So I can be sure to follow along. Let a few people, take a few minutes to let people hop to the channels. If you've plugged into this stream, you can go ahead and come to our Discord, and you can join the discussion here as well. We've got an associated channel that you can drop text. Also, give replies on YouTube or on Twitter, and I'll follow along there.
And can you again brief us on like the purpose of this hangout and what can we expect to hear?
Yeah, absolutely. So this hangout specifically is for the UK time zone, discussing over the February campaign plan, which is where we're going to be doing a Discover AtomicDEX. I think that there's a slide, yep, that you have up right now that's talking about this. What I'd like to have as a takeaway is anybody that has comments over particular things they'd like to see. What we have is we have a default template for that month already, taken from the ideas that we've seen the community ask for that we know that need to get done as just Komodo in general. Looks like we've had some more people pop in. If you're in the Discord channel and for some reason you can't talk or you're muted, you can go ahead and change it to push to talk. That'll allow you to talk through. Or of course you can use the associated text channel. All right. So we're going to be doing these for the next couple of weeks. Whoever shows up or wants to do the conversation can. Let's talk about the first things. Something that we're really interested in is talking about the UX and UI focus groups. This is something that's pretty far at the top of our list. We want to get some good feedback on whether the community thinks that we have a good user experience journey through AtomicDEX interface, or whether that's something that needs a little bit of work, like whether it's easy to use. Do you guys, I mean, we could start this out just as casual discussions too, like, open air market meeting kind of stuff. What do you, while we wait for comments to come in, what do you, Delta and Otto, what do you guys think?
Yeah, for me, this coming February sprint is about kind of like very strategy focused, or this gives us the first time, like at this point we have launched a new website and we have a lot of the basic groundwork done that we have been very focused on during the past months. So now this is the first time when we have some bandwidth to just sit back and think of the big picture more so, and then discuss kind of the plan, the strategy of what is it that we actually will be doing for the rest of the year. Like what is it that what are the main roadblocks that we need to clear out to get the AtomicDEX adoption, to get the liquidity, and to get to the other points that we want to reach the other goals. And the result should be some sort of strategy document that we also hope to share with our community, similar to what we did with the marketing roadmap. And then just have this discussion and alignment with our community on what is it that we are focusing on, not just as the Komodo team, as the marketing team, but then also like as a community, like how can we work together AtomicDEX a big success this year and get users, and then through getting users to AtomicDEX, we would also be getting them to join the Komodo community and to support KMD. And like this all, in my mind, this all ties together. So then this sprint would be about all of that. So we would have this workshop, like we would be meeting every week internally, of course, but then hopefully also with the community and anyone who wants to get involved, and then going through all these plans, all this is planning. So yeah, I think that's in a nutshell. What about you, Jesse or Dalton? Like, what are you expecting to happen in the next sprint?
I'm just like expecting a lot of good community feedback about how we can grow AtomicDEX and just like the various ways that's possible, whether that's like the user journey, referral programs, like swap competitions, um, like analyzing other projects and exchanges and like comparing them to AtomicDEX. So yeah, I'm just kind of looking to have like a deep dive into that topic and yeah, see what we find from that.
Yeah. One thing to discuss is this plan for this UX UI focus groups or this feedback. And Jesse, do we already know what this will look like? Like I don't think we have really like discussed this in detail, but it's kind of been mentioned a few times that we will do something like this. So what can we expect in your mind?
I think so. I know that we're going to be running like 2 weeks of little workshops or hangouts or something like that, and it's all going to be about like AtomicDEX and looking at the strategy for how we can get this mass adoption idea. We know some of the pain points right now, right? It's like if there were liquidity on AtomicDEX, then people would use it more. And if there were more people using it, then it would be easy to drive liquidity there. So I think that's definitely something that we're going to get some good conversation over. So we have some plans in the works on how to solve that, but we can definitely make them more robust with community conversations. I think the UI and UX conversation to like get people's opinions over, is it easy to use? Is it not easy to use? What their favorite exchanges to use are. Like what are some particular features that we can copy from other places that makes it easy and robust? That would be good. I know another discussion topic I for sure want to get community opinion back is on like a referral program, getting like an AtomicDEX referral program situation going on.
Yeah, that at the moment seems like it will be the most likely the main pathway and strategy to get a lot of new users to use the app. Yeah, we have a very knowledgeable person also in our team. He hasn't been on any of the live streams so far, but he's the social media manager, VK. He'll be one of the masterminds behind this referral program, and he has a lot of thoughts there. And if he would be here, I think he would be here. Like, he could talk 1 hour straight about how it's going to work out. So I'm pretty confident that we are in a good hands when it comes to this referral program.
Yeah, he does have a lot of really good ideas.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
There's a question in the we can just like do some question fielding for sure. Is zero confirm in version 0.4? I think that there's a way to do that right now from client side. As far as in the application though, I don't know if that's going to be up in there.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried. I think it's just built in like a feature, but of course, like those swaps are then not as secure if you do with zero confirmation. So I wouldn't recommend that. But that's a good question actually.
Somebody else in chat is asking, so Jesus12 is asking about the web-based AtomicDEX or not. Yeah, I think getting the web browser integration would be a huge thing. And I know that it's on the dev wish list right now, but I don't know for sure where they've started to talk about it as like a deliver for completed.
Yeah, I think at this point we can say that's, like Jesse said, it's on the radar, and it's also been confirmed that it's possible. So now the question is just when, which we haven't answered yet. So I guess that says all we can say.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like CP dropped in and said answered some questions about the finding all your private keys. It's a feature request in the GitHub. I'm going to it now to see where it's at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the zero confirmation was a really good feature in BarterDEX to speed up trades. Yeah. It's I don't know yet how to clarify like the security issues with zero confirmation and like if, where, and what they exist as. But it's definitely going to be another form that people could use to trade. Also, big thanks to everybody that's like hopping into Discord channels and like shooting out questions and just getting some chat over this. We're just trying new stuff right now. Like Komodo's marketing is really just all trying new stuff to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. We weren't sure like when this stream started up, if it would just be like a deluge from Twitter, or if like, a bunch of people would be suddenly emailing us, or if it would just be more of like a casual chat. So we're just gonna kind of see where it goes and then build off that.
Yeah, I could just throw a question out there, and this is the question we'll be asking ourselves throughout this sprint as the marketing, and that is just like what are the number one things or the top things to do. Like, do you guys see some roadblocks, or are there something you wish to change or add, or is there some problem, or what is it that needs to get done in your eyes to see big success for AtomicDEX? And if someone is watching this like afterwards, then like be sure to just ping us. You can reach us out just to Discord. Just leave a message on a channel or DM some of us.
If you've signed up for the January sprint to be included in those emails, then you'll get an email after all this with a survey in it. That's asking you to like tick a few boxes and share like some specific opinion pieces and things like that. So like these are the things that are going to help guide what the February drop will look like. So I'm looking at the GitHub right now, and it looks like SMK closed the feature request for show private key feature, as in it's been added. So I'm assuming that means it's added to 04, or it looks like it's in progress. So there's the answer there.
Yeah, and Tolkien had a good comment or a question or observation that that the maker orders, like so when you make an order on AtomicDEX, and if it cannot find a match, then it automatically becomes a maker order. And Tolkien is saying that it shouldn't do that, that there should be option that to have like a fill and kill order. It means that you are trying to buy something or sell something, and if there's no order, then it just doesn't go through. And that's something I remember we have been discussing, that like it's another item on the wish list under features, that there would be different order types that you could set up, and so that kind of is the answer at the moment, that's how it works. But these are exactly the questions we are looking to also discover during the sprints. Like if there's some better way to do things that are more convenient and understandable for the user. Like do you find something very confusing when you are using the app or making a swap? Like how could we streamline the whole process? How could we improve the user experience? And these type of questions are also like we are interested to hear everyone's thoughts.
Yeah, same. So there's like two different kinds of suggestions like coming through our Discord chat right now, and this is like a good example. Is that Tolkien is talking about like ways that we can change like the way that the code works, and then Andrea is talking about like promotions and ways that we can promote what we have, bounty programs and stuff like that. They're both really valuable pieces of feedback. What's going to be really important for us probably during these kind of meetings or open discussions and during the February run is talking about like what are the promotions that we can do, what are ways that we can reorganize like the UI, what are ways that we can promote and talk about AtomicDEX, things that don't necessarily require asks to our dev team. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not interested in like putting together that wish list and everything else. But what we have to do is we have to start finding ways to use what we have to get the noise out there, to like figure out what's going on, and then like bringing these request lists to the GitHub, which is probably going to be a big part of that February thing, to say like, okay, like this is a dev request, so let's bring it to the GitHub and like make it clear on there what we're after, and then the devs can add it to their queue as they see fit for priority, because they've just got like a huge pile of stuff that they're after. Nice. Looks like Token has a bot too, so we can definitely be talking about like bots and liquidity providing too. Jay Spook asks about this. So what exactly in turn in the team's current plan for increasing liquidity. Right, so the reorganized UI is actually something that that separate people could take over, like that marketing team or other people in the team could take over as a response to token there.
Yeah, to add to that, like as a marketing, part of our responsibility is to also use the apps and to work with the community and with the users to get the feedback and kind of to collect the data and to share, like if we find issue, then we share that with the dev team or with the product team who then implements that or makes necessary changes to the UA, to the UI. So we see that as part of our responsibility. As we are a kind of a small team, small startups team, so we have to basically everyone in the Komodo team is always wearing multiple hats at the same time.
Yep. So the big thing that we have to try to do is focus on, you know, what, like we may not be able to write in Rust or C++ or, you know, the stuff that's like actually making like really good high quality like Git commits. But what we can do is that we can work with agencies to help do like UI reorganizations is an example of like the difference of that. And we can do all the other stuff that doesn't require us like making a Git commit to push and promote AtomicDEX. Yeah, I like that one. JSpook throwing out the suggestion for getting started with ADEX might help series, a video that shows like grandma style usage of it. So that's the kind of thing that like we could run through in February. Like as a community or group or team, like we could organize that, design it, and then like either create a bounty for somebody to pick that up or hand it off to like an agency or contacts that we have that says like, you know, this is what we want, go ahead and build it. And the community, like we can do that like through those workshops in February to say those open discussion workshops. That's a really good suggestion.
Yeah, if there's anyone who likes to or who knows someone who might be interested to work with us and maybe make some tutorial videos, like you would like to actually film yourself explaining how to use the wallet, then that's something we could be doing as well.
Yeah, Tolkien. Yep. So that hits it on the head. We can do everything cosmetic. So we can do perception. We can do impacts on the GUI, the GUI, but functional changes need to become requests to the dev team that go on their list so they can determine their own priority for it. And then what happens is that if like marketing and community says like can show some real high quality value for something, like say, you know, changing like a particular underlying functionality, like that's something that we can get to that conversation with the dev team about and say like, you know, where's your priority on this? Like, can you raise the priority on this? Especially like if it's a low hanging fruit ask. And then we can say like, if, you know, if you do this, then we can, then as a community and everybody else, like we can bring more ability for people to use it. So that's kind of like the process for working with the devs and stuff like that, because everybody here is just kind of doing and pursuing what they're passionate about. So it's hard to stack a whole bunch of asks on somebody else's plate when they may not want to do it. Part of like the blessing and curse of decentralized teamwork. It's a cool idea, getting information from DexStat's website on AtomicDEX itself.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah.
That might be something that's doable.
Yeah, it was also one of the ideas we have had, I guess, on the wish list to have like market cap type of view on the app itself.
Oh, hey, Tolkien, like don't table the ideas. Like shout them out. I just want to be sure to give voice to that if you give a good idea and there's not a lot of follow up on it, that it's probably because it got jammed up somewhere. But the sharing of ideas is what these open discussions is about. Like, and then finding like what the clear path is. So like if you have something that's like a functionality change, like please like voice it. Be like, if this change was in place, like it would be super ideal. And then what we can do is we can get it into the git list, and then it can become a part of like our weekly sync meetings, and we can just like find out from the dev team, like, is this already in process, or like do you have a better idea that you're putting into place, like, or has this been deprioritized for a particular reason? Because that at least like that gets that conversation started, and that's totally okay. I just didn't want to like give the impression that if we're going to ask for functionality changes during February, and they're going to be put into place for sure. Yeah, I like the troll box idea. I think that would be fun. Maybe we could pair with Session or something. I think they're doing like a decentralized, distributed, private communication setup.
So on the YouTube chat side, CryptoTexty is saying an idea, shout out for a crypto targeted promotion. And I think some promotion, like we don't have the huge budgets available for promotions, but I think once we have streamlined reference program, like maybe there's some promotion we can try and just see how it works. Also as a kind of some learning experience in mind. So I would be interested to try something like that. But basically, really like huge scale promotion isn't worth it unless you can prove that you can get some dollar value out of it. Otherwise it's kind of like you could be burning huge sums of budget that could be used to other things like development.
Yeah.
And then the second point CryptoTexty said is that referring that if we were interested in Cardano, so he's suggesting that we could make a submission to their proposal system, process catalyst, the governance model.
Nice. Hey Dalton, it's partners at komodoplatform.com for people to get listed on AtomicDEX. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct. Partners at komodoplatform.com.
Yeah, we've got YOLO Swag YOLO on our YouTube chat asking about it.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, we got Polly here, Biz team."
Yeah. So I just wanted to get a little update about AtomicDEX listings and such. Currently we have like kind of a overflow, well, which is a good thing, but it will take us a little bit of time to sift through it because I know like of 6 already lined up. So plus the other ones that we were working on previously, like with more advanced, like protocol integrations like Tezos and such. So it's if you don't hear back from us immediately, just don't worry. We see the email, and we will be in touch, shortly. But it does take us a little bit of time to get to you.
Yeah, so JSpook is, thanks for that, Polly, by the way. JSpook is asking, does the team have a plan of any way to increase liquidity in users? Just want to know what the team is starting with. Yeah, so I guess, on a really, really base level, this is what the start of that looks like. There's been really, from what I can tell, there's been no real marketing effort here, like in Komodo, besides just meeting the bare minimum to stay relevant for like the past couple of years. And I think Q4 I know was a lot of sandboxing to figure out like what works, what doesn't. That was the AtomicDEX stress test. For us, that was a sandbox event. Like that wasn't really like, that wasn't like, okay, we're like setting this up months ahead of time. That's just like, what can we throw together and do? And it turned into the AtomicDEX stress test, which was pretty cool. And a lot of the content that came out last quarter was us just throwing stuff together and seeing what works and what doesn't. And we probably tried about 100 different things, and what stuck or what sticks is what we're running with for the next 6 months. So January has been a pretty big spin up time for us, getting all the back end work done. Like the revamp of the website is just it's just a method to get better pathing for our users, because it was just unusable before to push people over to. And that leads into the liquidity in the AtomicDEX, which is really like this flagship application that people know some about, but it's like, how do you get started there? How do you use it? May is going to be a big month for actually doing the liquidity, was what I would say, like in a market maker point of view. So what we have started is that by May, there should be an easy path for people to be able to set up a virtual server, a bot, and to do an arbitrage path between their favorite centralized exchange and AtomicDEX, and basically load liquidity into there. And when that is set up, like I know, like I've got at least a dozen people that will be loading up about 10K each on whatever their favorite pair is, and just doing that arbitrage opportunity. So that alone is going to be resting like 10% of the goal, like to have 1 million resting on AtomicDEX like at any time. Like that's new liquidity. And then outside of that, I think that once the liquidity is there, that the trading will be the natural next level, because nobody else really has this non-custodial atomic swap capability. Like that's how, like, one of the direct path for how to increase liquidity for that users. That's where we kind of want to get into a conversation if people have some good ideas about how to run a referral program. We have an idea that we're after, but it doesn't have to be the only idea, and it doesn't have to be the idea either. And mostly that has to do with, you have your copy of the AtomicDEX, and you distribute or issue referrals with a link that's tethered to your own copy somehow, and to do some kind of just traditional like affiliate referral scheme through that, and then create a reward-based system for those that are on the leaderboard for referrals, whether that be like breaks on trading fees, or like rebates on like the volume for that month. These are all things that are possibly in the works for that. That's good. We got Zokizak talking about the GUI for the AtomicDEX Android app. So rooting out bugs, like that would actually be a good thing, a really valuable thing to use for February too. Like not just like what are some GUI improvements that we want to move to, but just like what are some things that people are experiencing that just aren't working right. My goal is to use AtomicDEX once every day, to at least open it once every day. I probably open it about 4 or 5 times a week and try to click around and do something. And there's like a little laundry list of those things that I'm after. And I think if we had just a dozen people doing that with us for a couple weeks in February, that we'd be able to progress pretty fast. Yeah, Token. That's a possibility of like with a referral program and running something like that of like a rewards of volume per month. Don't know if it'd be like a long-term running program or a short-term one. Right now, it's like we're looking for solutions that we can dispatch without asking for more dev help. So that's a total possibility of somebody being part of a referral scheme, and like them, if they're pushing out volume, then them like that address getting a reward, that market maker address. But whatever we choose, like whatever things we choose to do and we figure out from our workshops in February, I think we have to be selective because we can't go after everything. So it's one of those situations where like, let's get everybody's voice in and figure out like what are like 3 clutch things that we could move on, and maybe and even start moving on them. And maybe that's going to look like, you know, making some grandma friendly content for using AtomicDEX and doing like a bug review and doing like some kind of referral distribution program. Yeah, the premiums. I'm with you. So Token is talking about how we do have liquidity resting on the DEX, which is true, and it's the premiums. And that even with direct arbitrage system, makers are still run a risk. Mitigating that risk is a big issue. Yeah, I can agree with that. And this is why like it's in May that I think the liquidity thing is going to get put together, because it's going to take some time to kind of work this out. It sounds like this is a topic that you're really interested in. So if you want to, you know, keep on bringing these ideas forward and be collaborating as part of that May liquidity volume idea and the arbitrage opportunities. So right now, I would pay a small premium to not have to use a centralized DEX, to not have to have an IOU. Like I would probably pay a 2% premium if I knew that I could go somewhere and trade without having to go through a centralized exchange and without having to worry about an AMM slippage and impermanent loss. And I think that if several people become committed to that, to like that same kind of idea, and it becomes available on AtomicDEX, then other people are going to move in and start like taking bites out of that premium a little bit more.
Yeah, that's one of the goals that through this was it May, this market maker sprint, that we clear the pathway for everyone who's interested to become a market maker, maybe run their own nodes and whatever infrastructure they need to manage. So so there's kind of this learning aspect or teaching, and so everyone gets the information and tools that they require. And I have kind of no question in my mind that we wouldn't or couldn't find a bunch of interested people who wanna help make some market making and provide some liquidity. And of course, we are very much looking to our community to support the KMD pairs, and we will be supporting the KMD pairs and trying to keep those the most liquid ones. So I think, yeah, that's gonna be exciting times for AtomicDEX and Komodo coming.
Yeah. I see Ragnar talking about decentralized options contracts. I'll have to read up on that because I have no idea how to implement that myself, and I'm not sure if that's more of a dev ask than it is like we could find our pathway to it. Right now, my limitation, or the way that I look at the limitation, is that we can only follow up like the non-dev team can only follow up with anything that's not that where we don't have to code anything. So like as far as the market maker program for May, that might even look like paying somebody else to build a Python bot and then testing it to make sure that it's that it works correctly. I'm going to be trying to learn a little bit of Python through the first half of the year to see if I can, you know, make something basic like that, or work with somebody to make something basic like that. We've got, is ADEX currently marketed in social media? It is, and you're going to see in the marketing report that comes out here along with the website release at the end of the month, you're going to see that AtomicDEX Twitter, which we found out like Twitter is not just our most major audience, it's pretty much our only audience, which was a really interesting find. That it has been like fairly quiet, and with that information, we're going to be able to reposition to be more aggressive on both the AtomicDEX Twitter audience and the Komodo platform Twitter audience, and that's going to help a lot. The stress test was pretty huge for getting it out into media. There's a lot of places that are hearing about AtomicDEX for the first time as a result, and we're going to be running a swap competition, our first, alpha swap competition in February as well. Probably be really basic, just seeing how it works, and then and we're going to graft some news around that. And then each of our major 4 events throughout the year, there's going to be a pretty major event happening at the end of March. Then there's the June summer conference. These things will revolve around the AtomicDEX as well. So these are, AtomicDEX has been known by some people, but nobody really knows about it. It seems like is kind of the reach. Like the name might be known, but it's no different than, perceptively, it's no different than like a Nash or like a Uniswap clone or something else like that. Like there's lots of people that just didn't even know that AtomicDEX wasn't an AMM. Delton dropping the social channels. And that's another thing too, is we've got, with social media, I've been playing around with a few ideas for reward structures with the community, seeing who, like where people grabbed onto something. And just last week, I dropped a reward plus retweet request to the community, and I had a whole bunch of people jump on it. And they got a new role, these Nakamoto Knights. And then I asked the question of, would you like to see this like happen again, like once a week, or like once or twice a month, or like multiple times, or would you like to see it like more? And just resoundingly, it was like, yeah, like we'll pick up more bounties, just like give us more stuff to do. So I've been like trying these little ideas throughout the past 4 months to see like what stuck and what didn't, what people were interested in, and this one works. So now I'm following up to build Tony and SMK have given me the instructions on how to deploy the Komodo daemon on a VPS so that I can just load every Nakamoto Knight's public address, AtomicDEX KMD address into there, and whenever they like go through and give a tweet, I can just click and spit a bunch of rewards out to everybody. It's taken a little bit of time though, so those are things that like we can set up and do, and that's a cool program that's starting out. They'll be getting a lot of social talk over AtomicDEX. If you take from an order book and shut down the app, you could watch the price. If the price goes up, you turn your app on and finish the trade. If it goes down, you let it expire. That's interesting. Yeah, JSpook, if you follow in on the Komodo Twitter or on Delton's blog posts, you'll see a lot of newsjackings that have been happening, not just over January. In January, it's been like so much more huge. But during Q4 of last year, there was a lot of newsjackings and a lot of link sharing about the stress test. And you can kind of see a little bit of the spread through Twitter. We had a pretty decent uptick in signups. I think we had 2,000 people sign up for the AtomicDEX stress test. So I know there were a lot of participants there that were first timers from other projects that had never even heard about it before. I think what you're asking for is like, where's the, like, do we have some aggregate data over that? And you might feel a bit satiated by the marketing report to come out. And what it's going to show is that there's more involvement, there's more spread, there's more interest. There's just more noise being made. NSPV support, please. This will make the KMD ecosystem coins very easy to use with AtomicDEX. Polly, do you know much about that?
Where's
Maybe not.
Crush? Yeah, sorry. I was trying to look.
Yeah, the NSPV support, please. Is that a thing?
Oh, okay. Well, currently, not. I mean, that's based off of, um, you know, the blockchains. I mean, so NSPV, um, will on doesn't too much have to do with the user side, but more so the person who would be hosting a connection for users into the network via the NSPV server. Um, you know, uh, there is some discussion about some use cases, utilizing, um, increased or decreased trade times, but that's not really NSPV related. So yeah, I'm not sure. Making KMD systems coin very easy to use with AtomicDEX. That is, it's a separate issue. This has been requested a lot. Definitely is on our radar. So basically, kind of like what we have with the ERC20, QRC20 thing, that would be able to just add in a AtomicDEX coin, and people can do that like manually. But for any end user based applications that have to be released on like the App Store and such, you know, the person releasing it has issues and stuff that they have to comply by. So it can't just be like you're automatically in the App Store. It's up to whatever business releases an app. Currently, there's one for AtomicDEX, but there will be others too, and they'll each have their own unique requirements. And there'll also be ones that are just downloadable as an APK that has no requirements or anything. So I probably made the question a little bit more muddled, but it's just trying to say that it's really situationally dependent about just adding KMD ecosystem coins, because it's not like a token type of thing. It's its own initial block, sovereign blockchain. So
yeah, and maybe this is one of those topics like NSPV servers that we can bring to the blockchain fundamental series. Like you said that you weren't sure what part of that made it more muddy or more clear. But yeah. Okay, I know that we talked about having this be about a half an hour, and it's been quite a bit over. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody for contributing. Got a lot of comments in the associated chat. Looks like we got some views happening on the stream and some replies on Twitter. We're going to keep on running these things. There's going to be a duplicate of this one happening at 5 p.m. EST tonight, so that we can hit it at in an evening zone for the Western world. And then we've got another pair happening tomorrow over the March schedule and event. Again, like the same situation, we'll be doing it at this time, and then duplicating it again for the Western world. And
this will be like an overview for the next 6 months in this coming week or two, as we do these mini streams, go over these topics one by one. So if you like this one, then be sure to check out the rest as well. And then there was that blog post that Delton prepared that you can find for the full schedule. I'll just put that to the screen.
I think he's dropping into chat now, actually. Oh, cool. Yeah, well, we're going to figure out what works and what doesn't. And if Q4 was sandboxing, then the first half of this year is alpha testing marketing strategies in the funnel and seeing what works, like all while actually doing stuff to make noise. You know, it's not like we're just going to be thinking about it. We're already doing stuff. Obviously, like anybody that saw the stress test last quarter or participated in any like the community events surrounding it or has been seeing things being done. So we'll see where this goes. We'll keep on aggressively moving after everything that sticks.
Yeah, so explore Komodo. What else is there to say?
Yeah.
So is this the end, JC?
I think so. We'll adjust it a little bit. We'll probably like start, 15 minutes before the hour next time and just have a hangout chat while the countdown is happening, because it looks like a lot of people kind of filtered in for the first 15 minutes. And then we'll have the discussion running and do like another good half an hour for the Western side of the world. Encourage more people to sign up for the sprints for the first half of the year and come to more of these open discussion meetings.
Yeah. So we will wish everyone
Thanks for leading a new initiative, Otto.
Yeah. Thanks for you hosting this meetup. So I'm gonna end the stream now. Everyone have a nice day and check out the other program as well if you wanna join again. JC will be hosting that. I'll be sleeping. And then tomorrow for the next sprint overview. All right, bye-bye.